Hello and welcome to ZUPCO Online. My name is Lesley Moyo. The name of the program is Fix My City. We focus on service delivery issues affecting the city of Bulawayo as well as the rest of the Matabeleland region. In this week's program, we focus on the contentious ZUPCO issue. Remember, government ordered that all private commuter omnibuses which do not fall under the ZUPCO franchise should stop operating, and this has brought quite a number of challenges for the commuting public in terms of public transport in Zimbabwe. This past week, Bulawayo CSOs came together to discuss this particular issue in terms of whether government was creating a monopoly by phasing out all the other players in the transport sector and favoring ZUPCO in the process. Let's listen to some of the issues that came out of this discussion, which was organized by the Bulawayo Vendors and Traders Association.
So as the residents of Bulawayo, with regards to ZUPCO, yes, it's a form of transport or is a service provider. But we are having challenges when we are looking at AMA routes, inter-suburban routes. We have to if someone, for instance, wants to move from to maybe Magwege or Luveve, then they have a problem. They have a problem in the sense that Asilama routes are covered ZUPCO from suburb to suburb. So, challenge. Then the other thing, secretaries for transport from the 29 wards that we had 2 days ago was a challenge in the sense that abantu baraise ama-concerns ukuthi i-monopoly ka-ZUPCO isinika i-problem in the sense that even nxa kumele abantu bavuke ekuseni, abanye abantu bangena ekuseni, abanye abantu bangena kumele bafike kuma-premises abo emsebenzi ngabo-7 AM, abanye bafika ngabo-6 and so forth, abanye njalo batshayisa late, uZUPCO uyabe setshayisile. So that becomes a challenge kulaba abantu ababe njalo. Then if you also look at abanye abantu basebenzela kuma-industrial areas, uZUPCO for instance uyakwanisa ukusuka lesemzilikazi abe sesiyafika ko-Lions, then to proceed from Lions ususiyale, it becomes a problem because umuntu wona uyabesebenza phansi le Belmont. So akufanele lamakhombo ukuthi abe vele kwazi ukuthi ekuseni sithutha abantu and then we drop them off kuma-work premises. In the past uZUPCO esasilayo kudala nguZUPCO esasimazi ukuthi wayefika athwala abantu ekwazi ukuthi kade esibaye emsebenzini ekuseni lathi sisafunda. I remember sisafunda lathi wawukwazi ukuthi ungagada uZUPCO uzafika ema-industry that side. But now uZUPCO wakhona usephela ko-Amara, usephela ko-TM, usephela ko-Lion, usephela eSitolo, kasafiki ngale kibo ema-industry, and that becomes a challenge to those people who need to be ferried to those areas. So as such, as the residents of Bulawayo, we are saying ukuthi i-monopoly ka-ZUPCO is not bringing any good to our residents of Bulawayo because one, awufiki kuma-destinations okumele afike kiwo. Two, abala agency uzafika ukuthi kwesinye isikhathi ibhasi iyafika izibhaki emnasi konke balode civic bezikona, while isilanabo kudala we knew ukuthi they would move every 30 minutes or 15 minutes or so, but abakhathesa kula agency. And then at the same time ama-residents akhala ukuthi, for instance, if you are from Kumla South, you know ukuthi ZUPCO bus lawana baphela ku-Ashes. If you are saying ukuthi no nsala ko-Campton instead of balandele iroute lana ebhodayo bakuthi sesiphela khona nesomele ukuthi uqedise ngenyawo, even those people are staying endaweni zabo-Roma ngale lakho there is a challenge. So uZUPCO kakhathesi kasela people at heart. And then we are saying ukuthi this monopoly ekhona, it wasn't agreed upon by the residents, but it was just an imposition that was brought by a ZUPCO from above. Remember, with the associations that were already transit. All those associations, ZUPCO, wabuya in memorandum of understanding yakhona yaba into edrafting uZUPCO kuphela ukuthi input ama-association already in existence. Nxa ngisebenzisa i-example yakobulawayo, uyafika ukuthi emadolobheni atshiyeneyo lawo ama-associations abo are different. That were there to service their clientele. But khathesi singananzelela, uZUPCO just took over, and abantu, because of that, a lot of people were gainfully employed because of engagement for kuma-combo nalawana basala sebe-unemployed. Kubona songanto sokule increase in crime rate because of that. Yes, we agree ukuthi uZUPCO wanted to bring sanity in the sense that ama-conductors, at times they were ill-treating residents. But we are saying that there should have been a way not to remove the combi owners as well as the drivers from the workplace. Yes, so here and there, 50% which needed to be maybe replaced by those who are having those 5 O level. But then at the same time, what we are saying, we have to take into consideration those combi owners must economic empowerment. Those were the blacks that were thriving, at the same time they employ abantu from different households, they need some different households. But it tells us good because of that monopoly, those people have been relegated to the streets, and there's such a challenge as to be who is feeding those families. So we are saying uZUPCO yes ukhona, but ngabe la group at the time, and at the same time lawana ama-private combis ayekhona lawo akube lendlela yokuthi babe included into the system, not ukuthi kuhle kube relegated at once as if vele bengasincedisi ngalutho, bebencedisa. Nxa kuyikuthi okule mthetho eminye sokumele bayilandele, then those guidelines have to be laid down, and the combi owners, the associations, through discussions they have to adhere to that. Kube le sanity nje, because uZUPCO vele kulamanye ama-routes angawahambiyo, whether kusemalokitshini kumbe kusemayadini, uzafica ukuthi vele a lot of people are having challenges. As it is, umuntu nxa efuna ukuya phakathi ko-hillside limbe phakathi ko-benside le kumele adinge imshikashika, because uZUPCO kwesinye isikhathi vele uyafica ukuthi kakho. So we have to understand that yes, uZUPCO is there, is serving i-purpose, but kakuthi ukuthi 100% is covering ama-routes wonke, especially ama-inter-suburban route lana engikhulume ngawo. uZUPCO is only from the suburban areas to the city center. But what about those within the city center, within the suburbs, kumele bamove?
I think first of all, I will thank Uduve for his input, which quite covers the interest of the residents around that. The inconveniences that ZUPCO brings have actually been quite put forth quite well by Uduve. I stay in a community where it's actually even harder to see a ZUPCO combi. You might see ZUPCO buses now and then, but ZUPCO combis never really get to communities such as Eluveve. Uduve also brings forth the issue yokuthi inter-suburban routes, they are actually not covered, which is also one thing that I would have loved to raise as an inconvenience kaZUPCO. But also the other challenge being that of meter tax, which are also being said to our value. The meter taxes were giving us quite a service when it comes to an emergency. I have given an example in some platforms that if somebody can have their relative who is not feeling well in Magwekwe in the middle of the night or at any point during the day, that relative might need to be quickly ferried to Mpilo, to UPH, or to a private hospital in the city center. The clamping of meter taxis means that that kind of an emergency service can't be available because meter taxis have to give way to ZUPCO. That also builds up an emergency at the level of an emergency problem at the level of our residents. However, we need to ask ourselves the important question that says, how did we get here? How did we get to a point where we need to have a monopoly that is subsidized. Because first of all, we need to agree that citizens, residents anyway, are not fighting ZUPCO. ZUPCO is a necessary public good. It must be there. But while it is there, it can't be both a monopoly and a subsidy. You subsidize something for people because you want to create a welfare state where there are people who can't afford certain private services that are available out there, and therefore the state comes in and subsidizes it for them so that everybody can be able to travel. But there are some people who do not need a subsidy. There are some people who can afford to travel to whatever cost. And we all have circumstances and situations that require us to need to travel at whatever cost. So under those kind of circumstances, we do not need a subsidy. A subsidy, once it becomes a subsidy and a monopoly, it raises situations of unaffordable debt. For example, NRZ was a subsidy or remains a subsidy in rail transport, and we know that there is currently the government is currently servicing NRZ debt assumption, which was at around 200 million US dollars. Is not enough to pay the people who own those buses. So government eventually tops up to pay ZUPCO every month. Therefore, there is a debt that government is accruing every time a person gets into a ZUPCO bus. I am sure we kind of understand that. The last time we checked, Minister of Finance, Professor Mtuli, was telling Parliament that in 2019, ZUPCO hired 382 buses from the public, from taxi operators. And the cost of that was at 303.9 million to government pay. By now, more buses have been hired, and the cost has gone higher or higher per an individual bus. This shows that if we can make our estimates well, the 303.9 million is now a public debt that we are incurring at a space of between 2 and 3 months every time. So this is the debt that ZUPCO is accruing. But we got here because government came up with a one-size-fits-all approach to solving the transport problem that was there. In Bulawayo, we had a working system that needed to be polished. Our working system in Bulawayo was through the taxi associations, that you had to be under Chovambaiwa, you had to be under Bupta, you had to be under Expricos, and so forth in order for you to operate. But in a city like Harare, they didn't have that. So in Harare, you actually needed government to step in and create order in the taxi industry. However, government then pushed that solution, which was good for Harare, to actually apply everywhere, even in Bulawayo, where it was unnecessary. So that is where you have a problem. You also have an issue that government actually bought Zimre out of a partnership with ZUPCO. You still had private hands inside ZUPCO. Now private hands are there forcibly through the enforced ZUPCO monopoly. This then means that, in my view, government would like a situation whereby ZUPCO has a huge public debt, such that a new partner will come in, get equity in ZUPCO for an exchange of paying the debt that will be there. But the debt will be so huge that abangenise amakombi lamabhasi abo kuZUPCO at the present moment are actually going to benefit for a certain period of time, like any other pyramid scheme. That there is going to come a time where ZUPCO, it will immediately collapse, and it will take you so much to get your money as someone who will have hired out. and then you will have to get into some kind of an arrangement with the new partner that ZUPCO will have gotten. So in short, I can say is, as residents, we are paying less now on our transport. We are getting A-level conductors, and therefore those conductors are treating us far much better than the previous ones. Some of them even have diplomas in this and that, and therefore we're getting better treatment now in these ZUPCOs. But we are definitely going to pay the price of this at some point later when government goes to parliament with a ZUPCO data assumption bill that is then going to be forced upon all of us as tax. The sad part is this: whether you support ZUPCO now or you don't, whether uyagada uZUPCO or umgadi, whether you are going to put your combi to ZUPCO, your bus to ZUPCO or not, at some point we are all going to pay the ZUPCO debt assumption bill because it will come as tax.
You can also have your say on the ZUPCO issue. You can get in touch with us on our social media platforms. We're available on Twitter as well as on Facebook at site ZW. Hopefully this ZUPCO situation will be attended to, as a lot of people have raised concern that it is causing a lot of challenges, especially for the commuting public. My name is Lesley Moyo. Let's meet again in the next edition of Fix My City. It's a goodbye for now.